Okay, good day, grade 11. So, yeah, we're just going to start with lesson 1 of the week, which is just looking at human uses of soil, okay? And we're just going to look through that and we're going to describe the impacts humans have had on soil and prepare for our end of unit test, okay? So if I go to if you open up the PowerPoint that I've attached for you. It's just a nice simple PowerPoint. So I would have your book open on page 249 to 251. Now I've made a few notes here. So while you're looking through it, briefly speaks about some of the human impacts and the two main causes. And we briefly spoke about this last lesson, which was deforestation. So that's that cutting down of trees. If you imagine what New Providence would look like if there weren't buildings here, there'd be a lot more vegetation, okay? Now, if you think about in the UK, places like that, the whole of the UK would just be forests, pretty much, okay? But that has obviously been knocked down for development, so for construction, for roads, buildings, just everything really you think about life right now. That's cut down the trees and that's impacted on the soil. Okay, because the soil, the vegetation kind of binds that soil together, and it's also we'll look at also the agriculture. So the natural vegetation, so what would normally there, has been removed, and sometimes it's been replaced with crops, which those crops are obviously can be sold. There's also for food. But these changes also make changes to the soil, okay? It reduces the diversity of the vegetation. So in that area, you're just going to have the crop that you're selling, which then reduces the diversity of the nutrients that's returned to the soil, okay? This has resulted in whole new ecosystems, cropland replacing the woodlands. Now, you might have heard about things like the palm oil issues going on across large areas of Asia. So they've got areas of rainforest that have just been cut down, and then they just have put these palm oil trees. Now it just has that one tree, and no other vegetation can really survive with this one tree crop that goes across, and you can see large, massive areas of land where what used to be a real diverse area of vegetation has now just got one type of vegetation, which is impacting the soil, impacting the local biodiversity. Okay, but we're going to focus on the soil. Also, you've got this idea that with farming, and we did about the different ways of that you could manage the soil by having your farming practices correct. Now, there's another one. You would have heard about like slash and burn, the shifting cultivation, land being cleared, and this is often done by like subsistence farmers. Now, this is a bit of a review, but yeah, it's where you grow crops for yourself, for your family, or the local community, the small local community, okay? Then the final bit that's about it also talks about, just so you know about the rainforest floor, okay? It talks about this on page 251, about the floor being covered with a thin layer of dead tissue called litter. But the thing is, this is rapidly used because of all the other types of vegetation that's around there, and that leaves actually very little humus actually reaches the soil. So that results in kind of this weak, thin soil due to this amount of vegetation, okay? And how quick the nutrients are used, and the nutrient cycle is so fast there, okay? So that's just a very brief overview about that. Now, just as a little bit of a review of that, if you could go to page 261 on New Wider World, complete question 6. So just complete it under the notes you've done with the unit topic date that you've put on there. And then there's some multiple choice questions here. Nice, easy. And this is really good practice. Okay, so page 256, questions 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is really good practice for the multiple choice end of unit quiz, okay? And you'll be able to get that on Plus Portal, okay? So that's the end of the lesson 1. Lesson 2 is to complete the soil quiz, and then lesson 3, as it says in this document here. So lesson 1, we do the soils. Lesson 2, the end of unit quiz. And then lesson 3, we'll move on to settlement, okay? Okay, thank you very much.